This is RTV6 News at Noon, working for you.
Now at noon, the rain is starting to taper off after we received wet weather all morning long, but don't put those umbrellas away just yet. I'm joined by Storm Team 6's Alyssa Donovan. Alyssa, are you tracking even more rain for this afternoon?
Yes, unfortunately, we are not out of the woods yet. We are seeing a little bit of a lull period right now between the system, but we do have some more rain moving in right now. That's going to reach us in the next few hours here. We also have some lingering fog out there this afternoon. We're still down to just 5 miles of visibility in Indianapolis, 2 miles of visibility down in Columbus, just about a half mile of visibility right around Peru, and that's the area that had that dense fog advisory this morning. Now that has been allowed to be lifted, but we do still have that patchy fog hanging around. As we head into the afternoon, we'll start to see that dissipate, and we're also going to start to see those showers once again, which will help clear out some of that fog. So what's going on right now is we have this system that's continuing to push out this first wave of showers. So we do have just some cloud coverage across Indianapolis right now, but as we head into the afternoon, we are going to continue to see this plume of moisture really feed up into central Indiana. That's going to bring us the potential of some showers once again this afternoon. Now, it does look like that system is starting to move off east a little bit earlier than we expected, so more likely we'll see that this afternoon right around 5, 6 o'clock, those showers moving in, especially into southern counties before it becomes a little bit more widespread into the early evening. Still seeing a chance of some lingering showers into Saturday morning, which we could see mixed with some snow showers, just because we're going to see those temperatures dropping off so quickly overnight. We'll only be in the 30s on Saturday. Now, if we do see that snow, likely we'll see less than an inch of accumulation on the ground. By Sunday, we do have more sunshine in the forecast.
Alyssa, thank you. All new at noon, a state lawmaker introduces a bill at the State House that he says would prohibit discrimination in schools that receive tax dollars. Democratic State Senator J.D. Ford wrote up this piece of legislation that is somewhat inspired by former Roncalli guidance counselor Shelley Fitzgerald and the situation she went through. Fitzgerald was fired after the Archdiocese of Indianapolis found out about her marriage to her wife of 23 years. That decision prompted an outcry from many fellow Catholics in the Indianapolis LGBTQ community. Ford says his anti-discrimination bill would prioritize the safety and well-being of students and teachers.
My bill prevents any school that discriminates against its teachers, staff, or students from receiving state taxpayer dollars. This includes discrimination based on race, disability, color, gender identity, sexual orientation, marital status, national origin, religion, or ancestry.
State Senator Ford introduced a similar bill last session, which ultimately ended up failing. In Anderson, this 18-year-old man is charged with neglect after his infant daughter was treated for multiple broken bones and a brain bleed. Police arrested Justin Dickey after officers say he brought his 2-month-old daughter to the hospital covered in bruises and suffering from multiple broken bones. Court documents state that Dickey initially said he dropped his daughter, but later changed his story, saying he gripped her too hard because she wouldn't stop crying and go to sleep. He is charged with neglect of a dependent, domestic battery, and criminal recklessness. One person is in custody and one is still on the loose after a carjacking in Carmel that led to a chase into Indianapolis. Police say 2 people carjacked an SUV this morning in Carmel. Investigators tracked the SUV by GPS into Indianapolis. IMPD then chased the vehicle. Police tell us the suspects bailed at 27th and Paris in Indianapolis, which is by I-65. That's on the north side. Again, officers took one of those suspects into custody, but the other person is still out there. Take a good look at your screen. Police in Fortville hope you recognize the suspects involved in the vandalism at a new sushi restaurant in Hancock County. The owner of Bonsai Fortville says they arrived to work on Thursday to find someone had thrown rocks at the windows and door. The restaurant had just opened on Main Street in November. And this midday, we have surveillance video and pictures of the suspects. If you recognize these people, please call the Fortville Police Department right away. 5 puppies found this week at a state forest now has one humane society reminding everyone there is no reason to ever dump an animal. That's because rescue groups in places like the Morgan County Humane Society will help you find a home for an animal you do not want. These puppies were found on New Year's Eve at the Morgan Monroe State Forest south of Martinsville. The pups were in a tote with a sleeping bag and covered by a sheet. Thankfully, someone driving by saw it and went to see what it was. The Humane Society says situations like this can be avoided.
We will help you spay and neuter your animals. It doesn't matter whether or not you can afford it. If you have puppies or kittens, you can't care for them, contact a humane society, contact a rescue group. There are so many different organizations out there that can and will help you. Don't leave them in the woods.
For help with getting your pet spayed or neutered, you're urged to get in touch with the Humane Society or animal rescue groups where you live. An arrest in a disturbing case of animal abuse in southern Indiana. A dozen dogs found shot and beaten to death on the side of the road. Jennings County investigators say they were given the name of 30-year-old Cody Kreutzjahns not long after a mother driving her children home from school made the grisly discovery on February 28th. The dog's original owners told deputies they had given the dogs to Kreutzjahns, but the sheriff's office says they couldn't make an arrest until they tested a key piece of evidence, a single glove found among the litter on the embankment.
We have to send it to the state police lab to get analyzed. Then if we have a suspect, we have to extract DNA from that person, and it has to be sent to the lab, and then it has to be compared, so it's pretty time consuming.
Police say Kreutzjahns does not have a history of animal abuse. He's facing 11 counts of torturing or mutilating an animal. A developing story, a man is now charged in the shooting death of an Indianapolis teenager 9 months after the crime happened. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office formally charged 29-year-old Dwayne Harris with murder, robbery, and felony firearm possession. He's accused of killing 17-year-old Leandre Lane in a drive-by shooting on North Franklin Road in April. Lane's friend told police the two were walking along North Franklin Road when someone drove by and fired a gun at them. Lane's death occurred during one of the most violent 24-hour periods of 2019 that left 6 people dead and 5 others injured between April 6th and 7th. We've known for a while that thieves are targeting you at gas stations with credit card skimmers. There is new technology, however, making it harder for you to detect those skimmers, what you need to know, and how to protect yourself. And museums are cool, but sometimes small children aren't quite into it. We'll show you what the Indiana State Museum is now doing to reach its youngest audience. And a car crash leaves a man with a traumatic brain injury, but the man says that injury gave him a new ability. The amazing story of how he has taken his life back through art. Alyssa.
And we've had quite a gloomy Friday throughout, and it's going to continue as we head into the afternoon and evening. We're in a lull period right now, but it's not going to last very long. We have rain chances ramping up today. I'll have the details coming up next.
Premieres Monday, 8/7 Central on ABC.
Time now for an RTV6 Consumer Alert. Joining me in studio today is Tim Maniscalco with the Better Business Bureau. Tim, today we're talking about something that impacts all of us that drive credit card skimmers on gas pumps. Folks are getting more sophisticated.
They are. We've talked a lot about these skimmers on gas pumps where when you put your card in, it'll actually read the information from your card. They've gone one step further now.
Okay.
What they've done is they can actually get that information now via some Bluetooth technology. So you can't even tell if you've been, your card has been taken or the information on that card has been taken. So that's the bad news. Here's the good news. The credit card companies have told the gas stations that they have to get upgraded technology. Most of them have done that, but by October of 2020, the credit card companies have said you've got to get this upgraded technologies. But for those gas stations that don't have it, you're still vulnerable. So a couple things that you really need to be on the lookout for. Number one, keep an eye on your statements, eye on your accounts. Just see if there's, some sort of unusual activity out there. If your card would get stuck, that can be a telltale sign that somebody may be trying to steal the information from you. Only use a card that has a chip in it. That's almost impossible to get the Bluetooth information that way. Get it from a Bluetooth. And then there are some apps out there that can detect when you have been scanned, so to speak, from a Bluetooth, that type of thing. Once again, I think this problem is going to be fixed by the end of this year, but there are some gas stations that have not yet upgraded, so just be careful of that sort of thing.
All right, Tim, thank you so much. This has been an RTV6 Consumer Alert.
Bid 225, front of the 5, you got to bid 235, sold it, 225.
The iconic memorabilia that decorated the walls of beloved downtown Indy bar Ike and Jonesy's is now being auctioned off. Ike and Jonesy's closed for good this week, but this morning the owners held an auction. Hundreds of items, including TVs, tables, kitchenware, and more were on sale. The bar's owner told RTV6 that collecting signs, photos, and neon lights has been one of the many fun parts of the job. I am disappointed, though. No one brought me back my disco ball. All new at noon, there is now a space specifically designed for young children at the Indiana State Museum in downtown Indianapolis. This space is called Firefly Landing. It's a classroom for kids 6 and younger, as well as for school programs. The Indiana State Museum says it's a spot where its littlest visitors enjoy activities just for them, including interactive story time, sensory tables, and hands-on activities. The museum says it wants to create more family-friendly areas and events. Iran is warning the United States there could be harsh retaliation after the U.S. killed one of the country's top generals in an airstrike. We'll show you what happened and what's next for both countries. And a former bus driver accused of choking a student now facing criminal charges. The very latest coming up next. And it is a dreary Friday out there. More rain is expected later this afternoon. Our Alyssa Donovan will fill you in on when exactly we can expect it to return. You're watching the news at noon on RTV6.
800-850-5054.
Welcome back to RTV6 News at noon. Iran's supreme leader is warning there is harsh retaliation ahead after the U.S. killed the country's top general. The Defense Department ordered and the president approved the deadly airstrike against Qasem Soleimani in Baghdad. After the strike, the Department of Defense said the general was, quote, actively developing plans to attack American diplomats in Iraq. The department also accuses Soleimani of approving the attacks on the U.S. embassy in Baghdad earlier this week. So what's happening now and what is next for the U.S. and Iran after this deadly airstrike? ABC's Trevor Alt joins us with some of those answers.
As the dust settles following the American airstrike that killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, the world now holds its breath, waiting for the fallout. Iran's Ayatollah saying this morning a severe revenge awaits the criminals who have stained their hands with his and the other martyrs' blood last night. The thousands of troops the U.S. has deployed to the Middle East since May now potential targets for that Iranian response. At home, some Democrats in Congress are expressing dismay, agreeing General Soleimani was an enemy of the country, but furious that Congress was left out of the decision to strike and warning it risks major escalation. Senator Tom Udall tweeting, Trump is bringing our nation to the brink of an illegal war. The attack also drawing condemnation from the Iraqi prime minister, who says the airstrike on Iraqi soil is a breach of his country's sovereignty that will lead to war around the world.
One potential consequence could be that the U.S. troops are kicked out of Iraq, which would hand a victory to Iran.
Other global powers like China and Russia are also warning the strike could have serious consequences. Even a U.S. ally speaking out about the attack, a senior French official saying, we are waking up in a more dangerous world. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo responding on CNN.
Yeah, well, the French are just wrong about that. The world's a much safer place today. And I can assure you that Americans in the region are much safer today after the demise of Qasem Soleimani.
Americans are now being told to get out of Iraq, a decision that's also drawing criticism because this warning's been given after and not before this deadly airstrike was launched. Trevor Alt, ABC News, New York.
Back here at home, a former Warren Township school bus driver accused of choking a student is facing criminal charges. Eric Carter is charged with battery on a person less than 14 years old. Kimberly Kincaid told RTV6 the attack happened to her 8-year-old grandson in November, and the family called for charges to be filed. The district released a statement saying an investigation found the driver did handle the boy inappropriately, but there was no evidence of choking. Carter was fired. This midday, 2 people face charges after speeding from police on I-465 and driving the wrong way. Traffic cameras caught a yellow Dodge Ram getting on the exit ramp at 71st Street Thursday afternoon. IMPD had been chasing the truck but called off the pursuit for safety reasons. Plainfield police say the truck eventually got off the interstate and crashed into another vehicle at US 40 and Main Street. Here at 12:19, let's get a check of the weather with Alyssa Donovan.
And it is a gloomy day. We still have some patchy patchy fog hanging around the area at this noon hour. Temperatures across the area in the 40s, 48 degrees in Indianapolis, 43 in Kokomo, Bloomington at 49, and you can see cloudy skies. Those winds have shifted out of the northwest about 5 miles per hour. So a lot of that patchy fog is up to the north, right around Lafayette and up to Peru. We're down to just a mile of visibility in Peru still, 5 miles of visibility in Indianapolis. That is going to start to dissipate in the next couple hours here, especially with the arrival of these rain showers. So we do still have some lingering light showers for southern counties this afternoon, but we are going to see that become more widespread as we head into the later afternoon hours here across central Indiana. That's due to this plume of moisture that's being sucked up from the Gulf. That's going to continue to push into central Indiana this afternoon and early evening. It does look like it's coming a little bit earlier in the afternoon than we originally thought. Looked more like the evening earlier today, but now we are going to see that just this afternoon and into the early evening, continuing again mostly along those southeast counties. That's where we're going to see the bulk of that system moving across. By the overnight hours, we are going to see those temperatures dropping, which means we have the potential of switching to some snow, and you can really see that change that's going to happen here on our temperatures map across the Midwest. We have this cold front that's starting to move into central Indiana, which is why we are seeing those temperatures in the 30s across Illinois right now, 36 in Chicago, 35 in Peoria. All of those temperatures are going to drop off from the north overnight, which is why we are going to see the potential of some snow mixed in there by tomorrow morning. Now, if we do see that snow mixed in by Saturday morning, it's going to be light accumulation, likely not even expecting a full inch of snow. 36 degrees for our high on Saturday. After that cold front passes, we are going to recover a little bit to start our week with temperatures into the 40s and some sunshine. That's going to stick with us for the start of the work week. Mostly sunny on Monday as well, 45 degrees for the high. And then we have our next chance of a mixture of rain and snow. That's going to come in on Tuesday. So the best chances to get outside and enjoy any kind of sunshine is going to be on Sunday and Monday in the 7-day forecast.
All right, Alyssa, thank you very much. Can't complain about those temps here in January. Pretty impressive. All right, still ahead on the news at noon. We've got a little bit more news, a little bit more weather. We'll leave you here with a live look at the Bloomington campus of Indiana University. Quiet there as students are still on their winter break. You're watching RTV6. We'll be right back.
And Keller, right now.
This is RTV6 News at Noon, working for you.
It is one of the most rare things to happen on the planet. A man left with a traumatic brain injury after a crash becomes a savant in a skill he never had experience in before that brain injury occurred. 4 years ago, Scott Mell was stopped at a North Carolina intersection when a driver hit him at 70 miles per hour. He didn't know at the time, but he suffered a traumatic brain injury. 4 months later, he woke up feeling lost. Then Mel found a purpose. Before the accident, he had no artistic ability at all. Months later, at a craft store with his kids, he had an overwhelming urge to paint.
It was the first time in 4 months that I actually saw something that I could relate to that was mine, that I felt like was me.
Wow. Well, Mel later learned he had atypical acquired savant syndrome. That's known as a condition where an individual displays remarkable abilities they did not have before a brain injury. Mel says he is one of 33 known cases in the world with atypical acquired savant syndrome. He was suddenly able to paint in many different styles. Now his goal is to help others who feel lost and find beauty along the way through his artwork. That is some phenomenal stuff there. Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
All right, well, something not so beautiful.
No.
Hey, look outside our window right now.
It is gloomy outside. We still have some fog hanging around this afternoon. We're going to see those rain showers kick back in the next couple hours here. So you might see outside that it's not raining. It's not going to stay that way very long. Temperatures today still climbing a little bit into the 50s, but we're dropping off a lot overnight. We'll be into the 30s, and then we have a chance of some rain snow mix by tomorrow morning.
Alyssa, thanks. And thank you for making RTV6 your choice for news. We hope to see you back here at 5. If not, have a great weekend.